Well, sometimes you gotta wonder if somebody has to tell you first. Like if you know something I don't.
What reason y'all are asking? I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of the way you have to look at it sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. That's why, when Detective Chamberlain came in here, he wanted to talk to you about if you had what you had done today, if you had seen something happen or witnessed something happen, or, like you said, something happened today. It's something really bad. And if you witnessed it, then it's something we need to talk about. Because people witnessed you. So, but I want to give you the chance to talk. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather hear your side of the story versus anything else. To me, everybody deserves that, right? Especially, you're a good guy. You're a good person. So, I don't know. I feel like everybody should have that chance to tell their side, especially if something bad happened. I would want somebody to give me that chance. I just want to know what got you to this point. I mean, I worked with you. So, you helped me, had my back in a situation. So, it would be nice to understand from you, from your viewpoint, why you would be here, what happened, or did you see something happen, or were you put in a situation, kind of walk me through it. But that's your choice, right? Everybody has a choice. You have to be the one willing to put it out there. I don't know. I feel like you've done this profession long enough. You know how things go. You're a good guy. You're not a drug dealer. Not a child molester. You're not, anything like what you dealt with, what I've dealt with. But I think today you dealt with a bad situation. I just want to know what happened. I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to know. Want answers, especially your family. I would. No, I do. I want to help you. That's the bad part. I want to help you figure it out. All I can do is sit here and say, well, listen, and work it out with you. Figure it out together. But you have to be willing to talk to me about it. I'm a pretty real person. Pretty straightforward. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's uncomfortable and nerve-wracking sitting in a room by yourself with people that you've worked with in the past, knowing the situation. But like I said, I wasn't there. You're the only one who can kind of fill in the blanks at this point. Am I right? You don't have to talk to me, but I'm willing to listen.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, this is a good one because she's back to that childlike leg swing and she's doing up talk at the end. And when she says, well, sometimes, she's reinforcing his fight or flight's up. You can hear his breathing if you listen to this, which I think is phenomenal. But it's deeper than respiration that's here. Often we see people starting to move into that kinesthetic we were talking about earlier. We'll hear heavier breathing. You'll see it there. She's starting this peony up where she's talking about him as a father figure and all that. And then futility. All interrogations end in one approach, and that's futility. It is the single hardest approach to teach because people that are trying to understand futility will often say resistance is futile, like there's something off Star Trek. I used to put a red mark on anybody I was teaching when they would say those words. I'd say, back out. Now go back and go through the whole channel again because it's just not there. What she's doing is what we typically do in these interrogations when we get to that point is we take logic and feelings and we drive a person into a point where their logic and their feelings are at war. And then we simply tell them, there's no way you're going to get out of this. How you feel is not going to have any effect on the facts. And you drive them to a point. Once you get them in their brain case and they're working in there, then you give them silence and allow them to stew. If she does one thing poorly, it's silence. She needs to do a better job of silence than she is doing here. Her conversation, however, is moving him into the right space to go into pre-confession. And if you don't believe that, look at that right eye accessing down right that we associate with emotion and a quick snap of his head to try to come out of it because he's keenly aware of what's happening. He's starting to feel it. She does say something I would not say here, and that's to remind him that other people are looking at him. Because what happens when we're doing this, we want to move to close. I want to lean over. I want to put my hand on you. When you start to soften, I want you to feel like it's just the two of us. Nobody else in the world knows about this. And one of our favorite people says, no one confesses in a crowd. And that's Dr. Phil. I think he's dead on. When you put other people in the room, the theater for one goes out the window and you lose that opportunity. And I think she has to recover from that. Chase, what do you got?
Yeah, you covered his body language really well. And there's some dissociation going on here. She uses a tactic of dissociation. As a matter of fact, I'm going to break down from a pro level, looking down at this interrogation, everything she's saying and doing and what that technique is called, just so you can maybe look these up if interrogation is something that's fascinating or interesting to you. Let's go through a couple of phrases that she uses. You might have seen something. This is projection. Then she says, people witnessed you, which Greg was just mentioning. This is potentially a mind virus method because she did not specifically say what was witnessed. It's not perfectly executed, but still very effective. I'd rather hear your side of the story. This is appeal to ego and appeal to self, and especially appeal to self-preservation. You're a good guy. This is socialization of the issue. And then she says, if something bad happened, that's minimization. So she's minimizing what happened. Then she's saying, I want to know what brought you to this point. This is asking why instead of the if. So ensuring that this is about character and reputation. If you were put in a situation, she uses that phrase. If you were put in a situation, great phrase, by the way. This is projection and rationalization. That's the technique going on there. You're not a drug dealer and blah, blah, blah. This is appeal to ego and character. This is also minimizing of the offense based on who committed the offense. And then she says, a lot of people want to know X, Y, and Z. More socialization. She says, I know it's uncomfortable. This is an appeal to empathy, verbal pacing. She's pacing exactly what he's feeling, what's going on. Then she's saying it's important we need to fill in the blanks here. More socialization. Then she says, I'm willing to listen. This is an appeal to stress and anxiety. Whoever this woman is, Nakona, I'd love to hire you, and I actually mean that. So get a hold of me, get a hold of us, however you can. I think all of us would like to have you on the show either way. I'd like to have you on my team. So that's all I got. Scott, what do you got?
All right. This is where she gives him a chance to say he knows what's happened, but only saw it from a distance, and he doesn't take that. He doesn't do that. It's a great question. It's a fantastic technique to get someone to admit they were at least at the crime scene or are aware of it. And he knows he can't do that because he's already said earlier, why am I here? What am I, I need to know, or not why am I here, but he was wanting to know what happened. And so this would in some way connect him to the crime scene, which is what she's trying to do there, which is a great move. And then she tells him people saw him at the crime scene. And this presses him to at least say he saw something, but didn't do it, didn't have anything to do with it. But he doesn't go that road either. Doesn't take that either. And then she tells him he's a good person. And quite often, as an interrogator, you'll tell the person what a great person they are. You know they are, and they're in your heart of hearts. You know they're a good person because you recognize that. You've seen it 1,000 times. I don't mean to laugh at that, but you tell them you've seen that. You know what it looks like, and they're a great person, and that you're there to help them. And so she says, "I want to help you because you helped me, and that's what I want to do. We can go through and do this. We can do this together." In other words, so I think she's doing all the things she should be doing. But he's still trying that thing where I don't know what's happening, although he hasn't said, "Why am I here? What's going on? Why don't y'all tell? Am I under arrest?" I don't think so, because I think I'd know that. He doesn't go down that road. He's not been angry once. No matter what's going on, if you're brought in, and one of the tactics you use when you're talking to, let's say, at a bank or at some company, and there's a bunch of people there, and there's some money missing or something's missing, or there's something's not right, and you talk to all these people, you separate them all, you talk to them one at a time, like on a Saturday or Sunday where there's a game going on. So they're going to be mad when they get there, and they're going to want to tell on the person they think did it. You talk to them, as you're talking to them, they'll be mad. They'll tell you they're mad. And if they don't tell you there, you say, "You look a little upset to me." And they'll be, "Yeah, I'm upset because I'm down here. I have to talk about this. And I didn't have anything to do." And so it doesn't mean that person is innocent, doesn't mean they're guilty. But it puts you a couple of bricks in the pile of this person may not have done it. It's also going to be easier for you to get them to tell you who they think did it, because a lot of times, the people who work there will have a pretty good idea who did whatever it was that was wrong, depending on the company and what kind of company it is, if it's a bank or if it's some big business place. But so I think that's a great tactic for that kind of thing. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so it's brilliant what she's doing here. She's delivering the archetype of the child, because she's going to associate that child with a child that he knows later on. So I think you were right up the start, Scott, is whether she knows it or not, she's going to go down this avenue of associating with the daughter via the archetype of the child. Why is it the archetype of the child? Well, it's that movement. Children don't fit anything. They don't fit environments unless that environment has been absolutely made for them. And children move all the time. Adolescents don't. Once they move from child to adolescent, they start to moderate how their bodies move. But children, they just move if they're not moving, they're asleep, essentially. So they move all the time, and they don't fit anything of the environment, because adults have made the environment for adults. And that's what we've got there. A leg that's moving all the time and doesn't fit the chair. And, whether this is unconscious or conscious to her, I think the ploy is that he's going to make an association with that child, because that's the nature of archetypes. We all know them. You've been a child, you know children. If you don't, you haven't been alive. You're not a human being. You're not watching this right now, if that's not true of you. The other thing I love that she's doing is giving him this idea of, you saw something, you were put in a situation, allowing him to get closer to the crime, just giving him the offer of being able to put himself just that little bit closer. Because if he says something there, she can then unwind that. He doesn't take the offer, but it's a good offer. She also gives him something to move away from as well. You're not a drug dealer, you're not a child molester. So she's putting up little nudges and attractors there, because it's a complex situation. And in complex situations, you just want to give people little nudges or little attractors. So she's attracting him to, you saw something, you were put in a situation, little attractor for him to creep closer to the crime, and some nudges away. You don't want to be seen as a child molester. You don't want to be seen by this. So why don't you mark yourself out as something else than that? I think it's quite masterful what's going on there. I like you, Chase, like everybody here, I'd love to speak to her to see what her thought process is.
One of those tape replays.
Well, sometimes you gotta wonder if somebody has to tell you first. Like if you know something I know.
What reason y'all are asking? I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of the way you have to look at it sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. That's why, when Detective Chamberlain came in here, he wanted to talk to you about if you had what you had done today, if you had seen something happen or witnessed something happen, or, you know, like you said, something happened today. It's something really bad. And if you witnessed it, then it's something we need to talk about. Because people witnessed you. So, but I want to give you the chance to talk. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather hear your side of the story versus anything else. To me, everybody deserves that, right? Especially, you're a good guy. You're a good person. So, I don't know. I feel like everybody should have that chance to tell their side, especially if something bad happened. I would want somebody to give me that chance. I just want to know what got you to this point. I mean, I worked with you, so like you helped me, you know, had my back in a situation. So it would be nice to understand from you, but from your viewpoint, why you would be here, what happened, or did you see something happen, or were you put in a situation? Kind of walk me through it. But that's your choice, right? Everybody has a choice. You have to be the one willing to put it out there. I don't know. I feel like you've done this profession long enough. You know how things go. You're a good guy. You're not a drug dealer. Not a child molester. You're not, you know, anything like what you dealt with, what I've dealt with. But I think today you dealt with a bad situation. I just want to know what happened. I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to know, you know, want answers, especially your family. I would. No, I do. I want to help you. That's the bad part. I want to help you figure it out. All I can do is sit here and say, well, listen, and work it out with you. Figure it out together. But you have to be willing to talk to me about it. I'm a pretty real person. Pretty straightforward.
I just that.
I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's uncomfortable and nerve-wracking sitting in a room by yourself with people that you've worked with in the past, knowing the situation. But like I said, I wasn't there. You're the only one who can kind of fill in the blanks at this point. Am I right? You don't have to talk to me, but I'm willing to listen.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.